Okay, so this is chapter 26, where we talk about liability of parties. This is Business Law 160. Um, and this I promise, this one will be actually very short. This and 27 are very little. So negotiability of instruments, continuing that, and the liability of parties. So when we talk about the liability of parties, are who is responsible for what when we are negotiating an instrument. And when we're negotiating an instrument, you have to keep a couple of things in mind. You can only sign a check if you're authorized to sign a check. So if you don't have the authority to do so, then that check is not valid, okay? And when we talk about personal liability versus corporate liability, two separate issues. If you are signing a check on behalf of a company that you're working for or your boss or whatever, you always, there's two different ways to sign it, right? So you're either signing it, you're signing your boss's signature because they gave you the authority to do so. So sometimes you'll do the S slash and then you sign it. Or if you're signing in your capacity as as an authorized user of that company. So whenever you do that, you should always sign your name, comma, and then your title. That way, if there's any problems or any lawsuit, you are going to be sued in your capacity as an employee or as an authorized user rather than in your personal capacity. So to give you an example, for the co-op board, the condo that we have, I'm the secretary. So it's only 2 units. It's me and another unit. And the other guy is the president. He doesn't do anything, typical. And I do all the work. But whenever I do the taxes or whenever I have pay bills or anything like that, I sign my name, Irini Bekhit, comma, secretary, because I don't want to have to incur any personal liability um, to make sure that everything is done properly and orderly. So that's what kind of this chapter focuses on. It's the burdens of people, who has what responsibility, things of that sort. Um, Okay, one of the things I'm going to draw your attention to is this case. It's a pretty small case, Davis versus Watson Brothers Plumbing. So a guy has a check written out to him in the amount of $153. He goes to a liquor store. He cashes it at the liquor store, the $153. And after he gets the money, he tells the owner, hey, listen, I want to buy a bottle of this, a bottle of that, whatever. So the owner of the store goes out and gets his money, gets the order for the items that this guy wanted. And while he's in the back doing that, a thief comes in and steals $110 from the gentleman who had the original check, right? And so then he lost that $110 of the check that was sent to him for $153. So he calls the issuing company who gave him the check in the first place, and he's like, "Listen, this is what happened. They stole the money from me. Put a stop on it." And he gets another check for the amount of $153. Meanwhile, the liquor store owner who gave him $153 or value thereof, he's holding on to this check. He's now depositing it into his account and it's not going through. Why? Because there's a stop placed on it. So he gave this guy the cash that was stolen, but now he's kind of like out of luck. So he ends up suing the company who sent out that check, who stopped it for the $153, and he won. Why? Because he was a holder in due course. He was holding on to that check. It was given to him. There was a transfer of that money, the instrument, the negotiable instrument, to him, and he had nothing to do with the theft or anything like that. It was transferred to him, so therefore he should be the one holding on to that money, $153. So he got that. Also, just a couple of things also in this chapter. Payment. When you make a payment on a check, your obligation is then discharged. So mortgage, right? You finish payments to the mortgage company, you are discharged under responsibility. Um, that's kind of pretty common sense. Let me see what else. You can always cancel a check. You can always put a stop on it. You're aware of that, I hope. But again, I know that checks are not used as often, so that's why, again, I'm not going to spend that much time on this. Like I said, I promise this will be actually short this time. Alteration. If somebody gives you a check, you cannot alter it. So let's say they give you a check for $100. You can't make that 100 into 1,000. That's a no-no. Don't do that. So alterations invalidate a negotiable instrument, right? Unless they're authorized by the person, payor, who is actually giving you the money. So just kind of keep that in mind. And that's pretty much all I really want you to know for this chapter. And the only thing I want you to know for chapter 27, so this is 26 and 27, the only thing I want you to know is when you have a check and you, let's say, deposit in a bank. It's deposited and it's actually a provisional deposit. So what is a provisional deposit is? It's there, but you can't actually take that money out. Why? Because your banking institution now has to verify the substance of that money. So let's say you were given a check for $100 or $500 from grandma, right? Grandma sent you $500. So what happens is you take this $500, you go deposit it in your account, or you take a picture of it and you deposit it into your account. Well, that $500 is not all available for you to withdraw right away, right? It's provisionally deposited. You can see it there, but you can't actually take that money out until it's cleared. So that's the only thing I want you to know, that it has to be cleared. The provisional deposit is just a temporary deposit until the money is actually cleared and then you can use it. Okay, so that takes care of chapter 26 and 27.